yesterday, I tried to chat up with the manager. The interviews for this role, started today, and I tried to have a conversation with the manager who is hiring. He was here with us in our last webinar, and he explained a lot of things about um, getting entry-level position jobs in the UK, which a lot of people think it's all about the level of expertise or how strong you are technically, but it's almost the opposite. It's more of a customer-centric role, and everyone can do that as long as you can speak good English. So the interview started today, but to my surprise, I knew quite a lot of people that applied that I sent the link to on groups, but they didn't get called up. So he sat me down and he explained to me the major reasons why over 100 out of 129 would not be invited for the interview. And that's the first thing I want us to note. You see, every job you apply for now out there, think as if 150 people are applying for the same jobs. If you think because you are the only one who saw it, maybe you'll be like 3, 4, or 5, you might not want to do as much as you should have done. So think along that line, 100 people, 200 people applying for the same role. When I was a student too, and I was with McDonald's, a job that didn't require a degree, a kitchen job, a part-time job. When I spoke with the hiring manager too, he told me 145 people applied for the role within 2 days. 145 people. So you'll be surprised at that kind of small job too. Somebody will apply and feel like, after all, it's just a menial job, and you're not even getting called up for interview. The volume of applicants are increasing. And that's why every opportunity you have, you should give it your best shot as much as possible. Please, is everyone hearing me clearly? Please.
I
Is
can hear
everyone
you very
hearing
well.
me? All right,
Yes, I
okay.
can hear you.
All right,
Yeah, I
thank you
can hear
very
you
much.
clearly.
All right, thank you very much. So have it in mind, any professional job, it could be IT or non-IT, think as if 150 people are applying. Sometimes when you look at LinkedIn and you see number of applicants for certain, you see that LinkedIn will tell you about 100 has already applied within 48 hours. Think like that for each job you are trying to apply for. So this job, service desk, entry level role, band 4, and contract, and so on and so forth, then the people you are reporting to. So there was something about this job that the first thing and the first mistake majority of the applicants made was what I call the wrong use of AI. Okay, the wrong use of AI. That was the first thing that led to the disqualification of several applicants. And when I mean several, I'm not talking of 10 or 20, I'm talking of more than 100. Is anybody here on his or her PC? Please, do we have anyone online at the moment that you're joining from your laptop? Do I have any person like that?
Yes.
I'm joining from my laptop.
Very good. Okay, please, I would like you to help me turn on your ChatGPT. Let's do a quick comparison just to buttress my point very well. Very well. I'm going to post the job description. Okay, I'm going to post it here on the chat. Then you copy it and tell ChatGPT, I just need 3 or 4 of us to do this test and come out with the result. Then I will use that to explain the details it gave me. I don't just want to summarize and say, oh, ChatGPT is the cause. I need to also explain why the wrong use of AI is disqualifying several people from getting their dream jobs. So if I can have you can raise up your hand if you're on a laptop, please. If you're joining from a PC, you can raise your hand so that you help us with this part of the the exercise. Just raise your hand. You can use the raise hands symbol. Okay. So I'm dropping something here on the chat. It says it's too long. Okay, let me try and upload the file then. So I'll upload the file. We can quickly copy the job description and put it on ChatGPT to help us generate a supporting statement or a cover letter. Okay, that's the goal. That's what we want to try and do now. I'm going to post some few lines. I can't post everything because there's a limit to the size of what I can put on the chat. So I'll just put a few lines, or maybe I'll drop it in 3 parts on the chat. Please put it on ChatGPT and let's all draw up. You can tweak it as anyhow you like. Okay, still not accepting it. I may have to upload the document then. Let me see. Let me see how I can upload this document quickly.
That's okay. The contract. Yes, okay.
Okay. I'm trying to add the file and upload it, but what am I doing wrong? What am I getting wrong here? Shit. Okay, if I'm unable to copy it, then we can use something generalized. We can use something generalized to try and tell Chat GPT to draw up a cover letter for a service desk job. Okay, please, I want 4 people to help me do that. I'm also going to be doing the same thing from here. Let's use ChatGPT to draw up or to help us put together a cover letter for a service desk position. So I'm going to be sharing screen now. So you can help me do the same thing where you are. I'll give you opportunity to also share the same thing while that's okay. So write a cover letter for a service desk position in the NHS, maybe something like 200 words. Okay, you can also help me do the same thing over there, just quickly so that we compare our notes together. So don't forget my first point. It's the wrong use of AI in our job applications. Many of us use AI. I use it also. But it was there and it occurred to me that, you see, what you're doing and applying for the job by copying and paste or changing a few things here is the same thing more than 100 people are also doing for the same role. Okay, has anyone else done the same over there? Can I have like 2 or 3 people, please?
Benjamin, please give me a biro. Okay.
I've done it.
Okay, can you share your screen?
Okay.
All right. So now, okay, thank you. Just wait at the first place. So now when you use ChatGPT, recruiters have come to find out that when a group of people use ChatGPT, it brings out almost the same thing for everybody. And the way they know is by common words, like it starts with, I'm writing to express my interest or my keen interest. I'm excited. Look at the last part. I'm excited about the opportunity to contribute to the mission of. So you see these phrases in more than 80 applications. And you also think about it. Let me also think about it as a hiring manager. If I'm hiring for a role and I'm saying, please, can you scroll down? Let's look at more. There are quite a lot of phrases that are common each time you use ChatGPT for a job role of an application. Please scroll down. Scroll down. Let's see some other parts. Okay, hold on here. Hold on here. This furthermore, most of the time, you will see this furthermore, you will see moreover at the beginning of the third or fourth paragraph. So according to him, he was, trying to explain to me that the same sequence, following the same sequence for up to 80 applicants out of 129. I mean, think about it too. What would you do if you are the recruiter for that kind of role? You understand what I'm saying? So this is why I feel like we should pay a keen attention to how we use ChatGPT. ChatGPT is not bad. ChatGPT is not the reason, but the reason is the wrong use. The way we use it. The way most of us use it is that we just copy and paste this and change a few bits out of it and submit. And we do 10, 20 of that within 2-3 months and wonder why,
Please arrange that table chair.
why the responses are still like that.
You are going. Penny, please watch my laptop.
So I want us to pay attention to that. But the answer now is that what can we do better next time? If I show you my own ChatGPT also, you will find out that these same words are the same thing, even if I try to tweak it a little bit. Okay, please, can you stop sharing the screen? Let me also share from my own screen. Then I'm trying to turn off. Yes?
Yeah, if I may ask, the last webinar we did, or this hiring manager now, when you're applying for NHS positions, I don't see any particular place that they will ask you for cover letter. What they will be asking you is your duties of your previous or your current employer.
Yeah,
I think that's why do you want to work in NHS? I don't think they serve as I don't think there's a position, a particular place you will put your cover letter while you're applying for any position in NHS.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. NHS will not ask you for a cover letter, but they will ask for a supporting statement to your application. So what they do is, excuse me, apart from the job description and your previous experiences, there's a separate column for your previous experiences. There is always a column where you can write as many words as possible that will be asking you for your supporting statement. And supporting statement is close to a cover letter. So that's why I'm also generalizing this in case anyone is applying to some other private companies or government agencies. You will either see a cover letter or supporting statement or something around that. So most of the time, I'm just demonstrating the common mistakes that a lot of us have made in the past, which we shouldn't make. Yeah. Yeah, thank you, Sheyi. They will ask for supporting statement. That's correct. So, and it's usually between 500 to 600 words. So this is what I'm saying. Look at what was on Willie's screen, checking my own tool. Even if I tweak it, of course, it will change some words, but you will see this. In the third paragraph of Willie, it was using furthermore. Now it's using moreover. in my own. So they know all these things. Recruiters are already aware that lots of people are using it, and they've come to see the volume of applicants using it. So the moment they see that, it's either they get pissed off for wasting their time, or they just sideline every of such application. So what should be done whenever we want to use the AI? The first thing I will recommend is that for your resume, as much as possible, if you can, invest in your resume. Get a recruiting agency, get a CV writing agency of good reputation. I don't run one and I'm not connected to any, so I'm not marketing for anyone, but I think it pays if you can do that. Try and get a CV writing agency with a cover letter. Let them do these things for you. They might do everything for you most of the time between 40 and 100 pounds. I spent 100 pounds when I wanted to do this, but I don't regret it when I look back. Of course, the money was much, the conversion rate, and so on and so forth. I was a student. But when I look back, I don't regret it. And I've had different people say the same thing too, that come. When you talk about people writing CVs for you that are professionals, when you
Go and
look
take
at the
it.
money, you find out that the top jobs out there, you might not be able to get them when you consider the money. So I would recommend, if it's possible, if you have the money, please invest in your resume by getting professionals to touch it up for you. That's number one thing. Number two is that for your cover letter and your supporting statement, if it is well written by you, you can come to ChatGPT to help you rewrite it. So when ChatGPT is rewriting your own self-generated statement for you, it won't use this couple of words and it won't follow the same sequence. You see, even if ChatGPT writes this kind of service desk position for non-NHS organization, it will still follow this kind of sequence. There's just a pattern that when native speakers read statements written by bots, they understand the flow, the sequence, the pattern, and they detect it easily because they've read tens, or some of them have read over 100. So they can even do it themselves, put the same thing on it and compare it with what you've written, and they know that, okay, this guy is using a bot. And it tells them something, that you're cutting corners, you're not doing it the right way, you don't deserve the job. So you can decide to look at the pattern, study this pattern, write it in your own words, and tell ChatGPT to help you rephrase it, rewrite it, so that all these things do not appear in your statements. That's the first thing. Number two, according to the recruiter, another thing he pointed out to me is the use of American English. Before now, I've always thought, well, English is English. Why do these people always hate or despise American English? Whenever you speak with Australians, Canadians, and British people, most of the time you find out that they don't like American English. So when you apply for their job and you're using ChatGPT, ChatGPT uses American English. In Nigeria also, we mix American English and British English. For example, when you look at this word minimize, organization, once a British person begins to see Z in all these words, organization, Z, minimize, Z, the person knows that, number one, you're communicating in American English and you're trying to communicate in American English with British people, which they don't like. They may not say it publicly, but it's not something they appreciate. Number two, they know that you're using AI. And number three, it shows that you're not fulfilling that criteria that says you have excellent communication skills. You remember most of the jobs we apply for, you remember the criteria they always put there, like clear communication, excellent communication skills, good communication skills. So to them, it's not just that you are speaking English. They are also examining the text you've written down because they've never met you. And in the process of checking out what you are writing, they are seeing American English when your job has to do with British people. So a lot of them don't like it, and they would rather prefer people that understand British English to face their clients than someone who is speaking American English, except maybe it could be some exceptions will be possible. But when it comes to large volumes of applications, this will be the priority, and this is how they are going to think and screen out candidates so that they don't end up wasting their own time too. I hope I'm making more sense. And Emmanuel, I hope I've answered your question too.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
All
Yes,
right,
you did.
all right, thank you. So the third one I want to also try and chip in, before I move back to the application. Let me
Okay,
share.
I want to ask you a question.
All right, go ahead, please.
Using some of the app that do write cover letters and CV, like My Perfect CV, are they not good? If you should use
A
a service
mobile app or a person or an individual?
individual, like there's one site they call My Perfect CV, because that's what
Uh,
I use.
uh,
I pay.
okay, you paid for it, right?
Yes, I paid for it, and I paid £16
Okay,
for it, and it gave me option of applying or writing cover letter based on the specific job description. So,
okay,
and anytime I have maybe a position I want to apply, I will copy the job description, the company name, and send it to automatically write CV and cover letter that relate to that job description and the company as well.
okay. Okay,
Are you saying
that's
it's not okay?
I really can't answer that for now, because the thing is, as long as there are not many people doing the same thing, I mean, you are safe. But if a situation happens that 10, 20 people, 30 people do that, and it generates exactly the same details, and all of you apply for the same job, and the recruiter is now reading exactly the same thing, the same words, the same pattern, the same flow, that doesn't help. But if it's only you or a few people who are doing that, I don't think it might not affect you. I think that's the best way I can answer that. But this is what I think. If
Yeah.
you get a professional, a human being to write your resume for you and your cover letter, each time you have a job, you can always fine-tune that cover letter based on the job description. You already have a standard. So usually, when you get a professional to write a CV for you, it's for you to understand the pattern and how things really work. But almost every week or every month, you still have to go back to your resume yourself and go and update it with your current skills, experiences, and what is currently needed in the market. So I'm not against using an app, but my concern is that if you apply for a job tomorrow and 20 of you do the same thing, what do you think about that? So that's my little concern about just using an app that gives you auto-generated answer. Okay.
Okay.
I hope you understand my own
Yeah,
perspective.
I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
All right, thank you. So I want us to look at this part too. If you're applying for NHS jobs, it could be applicable in some other government jobs. So understand your essential and desirable criteria and understand the difference between this A and high, which you're seeing here. Okay, every NHS job, you will always come with an attached job description that you can download. Please take your time to also study it before you attend the interview, because they are going to be asking you questions based on the job description. So whatever has A here means you must demonstrate it during your application. Your degree, your ITO, an experience of a former customer service, they should see the evidence of this in your application. But anyone you see with high should be demonstrated during your interview. A or high, that means you may not, A or high. But there are some like this, numerates with high level of attention to detail should be demonstrated during your interview. So when they're asking you questions, they might even just ask you theoretical questions or just tell you to tell them about yourself. As much as possible, ensure that your experiences and stories cover these points so that it increases your chance, because they are going to be marking based on this template. They are going to be assessing you and marking you based on this template. Please, can we all mute if we're in a noisy background? I'm hearing some noise so that people can hear very well. Please, I would appreciate if every one of us can mute so that people can hear us clearly. So please, when you see this I, it means during your interview, you should demonstrate it. And the A stands for your application. So it's also a point to us when you're attending any job interview, study your job description very well. When you're applying for a job, study your job description very well. Never use the same CV for all your jobs or the same cover letter for all your jobs. Take time to always tweak your resume, your supporting statement, your cover letter from time to time so that it matches what the hiring manager is looking for. I mean, something that will catch their attention to quickly invite you to the next stage of the interview. Then the last point I want to share before I take other questions or this, I would like to share that from my own CV, this last part. So why I want to share this is that I've gone through quite a number of resumes and I've also seen this mistake. And luckily, the hiring manager also spoke to me about this, that you see, a lot of times when we are trying to defend our experience in the field, we are too general. So please, as much as possible in your own demonstration, avoid generic applications. I'm trying to look for my resume. It's been a while. I just want to show a section of my CV and use this to explain better what I'm saying. Please, pardon me, give me a few seconds, please. Trying to sorry, apologies. Let me try and fish out my CV. Okay, I've seen it. All right, thank you. Can everyone see my screen, please?
Yes, I can see
No.
it.
All right, so
Yes.
this, I have to point this out about our resumes, the kind of resumes most of us are actually submitting to these agencies. An average resume, you just see job description and we write, oh, I did this, I did that. I'm a network engineer. Part of what a network engineer does, you configure your routers and switches, you deploy them, you troubleshoot them, you troubleshoot network failures, and so on and so forth. Now, when you're writing your CV, if all you're writing are just the basic things, understand that that is also what majority of the applicants are doing. Maybe for a service desk position, you're putting it there that, oh, you're troubleshooting Word and Outlook. That's the same thing everybody will also write, that they are troubleshooting Microsoft Word and Microsoft Outlook problem for people. So what should you do in order to make your own resume stand out? Because understand that in the Western world, recruiters pay a lot of attention to details and avoid generic statements. Let the recruiter read something personal in your resume. For example, in my resume, I had to set out a particular section for key achievements and another section for notable responsibilities, where I specifically wrote down a few problems that I was able to identify and solve. Look at this, for example, that I proposed a migration from an existing appliance that wasn't serving the purpose to a better one. Okay, that's I didn't just, not just that I'm just deploying, but I increased the internet speed for a facility by the deployment of a wireless LAN controller and an access point. So during my interview, because when you drop all these things, they note it and they're going to come back and ask you the same question. So during my interview, when they asked me all these things, what did I tell them? Okay, I said in the facility, the internet was slow. And I drew up a plan together with my team and submitted it to the senior management. And it was from there that we had to use a higher level of appliance, which are these WLCs and Cisco access points. So these are the kind of statements that are good to be included in your resume. The problems you solved, not just what you did, but as much as possible, be specific on the problems you solved. Another thing I see a lot of people do is that when they want to write their experiences, they will put about 5 companies, 10 companies on their resume, and you try to have three job descriptions for each of them. It's not necessary. For me, I have 3 companies I've worked for, but I focused on the most relevant one to the job I was applying for. The other one, I was just putting 2, 3 lines, but the main one that was going to give me the job, I had how many lines? Maybe over 15 lines. Because when the recruiter is reading, this is where the recruiter will focus on most of the time. This is what will catch their attention. As far as I'm concerned, every other one is irrelevant to a British person or someone who is in the industry. It's only relevant to someone who has worked in training or is looking for an instructor. So if I'm applying for a side job as an instructor now, I can fine-tune the other one and shut down what I've done here and reduce this one to maybe 3 or 4 lines. So this is the point I'm passing out. Avoid general statements like, I resolved Microsoft Word issue for my client. I resolved Microsoft Teams issue for my client. Every other person will write that. You can come up with something more detailed, like we detected that 10 users were calling and had problems with a particular application. We logged the tickets, forwarded it to the server team, and the server team rebooted the server, and the problem was resolved. So these are things that if we sit down, we can carve out, or you can look for those who are in the field and can suggest how these things are done to you. For any role you're applying for, it could be cybersecurity, it could be data science. We have friends on the group who are data scientists. We have friends who are cybersecurity analysts. And even if they are not on the group, there are quite a lot on LinkedIn that are willing to help. What I'm saying is this: for any job you apply for, be as detailed as you can be by ensuring that you are not generalizing what you're doing. The recruiter sat me down yesterday and was showing me how many people were saying that they were solving Microsoft Word problem. And that's what over 80 people wrote, that they are solving Microsoft Word issue. What did you solve there? How did you do it? No detail. So it's too generic. And because of that, you don't deserve being called up to the next stage. So I hope, everyone here will learn from these few things I've come to share with us. I don't know if anyone has questions or contributions, but these are the few things I've learned, and I feel like let's have a rethink. Let's re-examine what we've been doing, and let's give our best to the next opportunities we're going to have. We can't keep blaming the system. It's time for us to upgrade whatever we are doing. Okay, someone is asking a question. How many pages should the CV be? I see people recommend between 1 to 2 pages. So I use a 2-page resume, but I don't think it should exceed 2 pages. So based on the standard I've seen here in the UK, don't let your resume exceed 2 pages. Whatever you need to do, squeeze it into 2 pages. If it's for you to reduce the font, reduce the font, but ensure that it doesn't go beyond 2 pages. Okay. Any other question, please, or any contribution? Sheyi Abolari is here. Please, Sheyi, do you have anything? He works for the NHS too, and he's a senior colleague in the NHS. Please, you can correct me if I've done anything wrong. Feel free. I don't mind being corrected publicly, just to help someone out there. Sheyi, do you have anything to add to us, please?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, so any other
Okay.
question or contribution we can hand? There's nothing to add.
Probably I want to ask a question in regards to what you mentioned in your CV. With regards to duties you carried out in your present or previous employer, every duties you carried out there is a problem solved. So is it necessary must you detail how you solve those problems? Like as you mentioned, resolving Outlook problem. Are you going to detail how you resolve the Microsoft or Microsoft Outlook problem? Are you going to detail it on your CV? Because if you should do that, mean you will not have enough space, to write other duties in your previous employment. For example, your present employer, if you should write out what you are doing, it's not only Microsoft, it's other things. So are you going to detail it one after the other? Why doing that? Honestly, 4 pages will not be enough for your CV. That's my
Okay, so you
observation.
can't put in all the steps, right? You have to look for an intelligent way to just summarize the most important things. Something like normally this is what I know they look for. You detected an issue. Okay. You proposed the solution, and what you proposed worked. So your summary, it could be everything could be summarized in maybe something like 2-3 pages, but that's what it should carry. A problem you detected and how you solved it. It's not something that you will write a full page note on how you did everything step by step. No. It's just to show that you are on the field, you are detecting something. Okay, look at this. For example, if you can see my screen, maybe for a network engineer now, I detected DHCP rogue IP addresses on a certain facility, and I resolved it by implementing DHCP snooping on the switches. Every network engineer here knows DHCP snooping, but I'm sure most people will not put it on their resume because they may not know how to put it on the resume. If I just put it there that I did DHCP snooping, it's too generic. But by first of all telling the recruiter that I detected a problem and I implemented it by putting this particular configuration called DHCP snooping. Every IT person at least have an idea of what DHCP is, automatic IP addressing. So when the facility has an automatic IP addressing issue, there's a solution called DHCP snooping. So by simply putting this, tells my hiring managers that I'm not submitting a generic statement. I'm not being generic. I'm being more detailed in what I'm doing. The same thing is if you have worked on fiber optics before, this thing called UDLD. UDLD error is common on fiber networks. Okay, maybe your fiber is broken, the fiber got caught, and so on and so forth. So some of those fiber errors come under this classification of UDLD. And funny enough, some of it you don't even, it's not even necessary that you've done it before. It's just that you understand your terrain and you put something around it. So that's just an example. Using this expression in 1 or 2 lines drives home a point that you are detailed, you are practical, and you truly have the experience that you are telling them you have. That's just the idea. The idea is be practical, be detailed. Tell them problems you solved. Even if it was that you were volunteering and it was your boss who solved that problem, you can put it that you were the one who did it, or that you were part of the team. You're a volunteer in an NGO, or you did your internship and your senior boss called you and was explaining something that happened 2-3 years ago and said this and this. You can call it and say, oh, as a cybersecurity analyst, my team discovered this. Oh, when I was there too, I also investigated it. We found out that this was a problem. We deliberated it, and this was a solution we implemented, and we eliminated a threat from our company. But if you just put it there that you know how to use this tool, that is what everyone else is also putting. What makes you different? What makes your own submission more attractive to the recruiter? That is the way we should look at it. When you think like this, it will determine what you're going to pen down. And don't try to submit 20 applications in a week. I've said it that this easy apply on LinkedIn might not work for a starter. It might work for a well-established professional, but it doesn't really work for starters. An application can take you 2, 3, 4 days. Take your time, go over it, review it, give it your best shot, so that at the end of the day, you know that the few ones you got, you're having interviews and you're getting the job. At the end of the day, you have 2, 3 jobs waiting for you, and you go for the one you like the most. That's the idea. I hope that's helpful. Any other question, please?
Yeah.
Okay. So is there any other question, please, before we round up? We have 3 minutes left. All right. So I'd like to appreciate everyone for joining from different parts of the UK, from London, from Glasgow, from Inverclyde, from Port Glasgow and Greenock, and so on and so forth. So, thank you very much for joining. I think at this stage,
one of the courses you did, so that's the sample.
So they print it out for you.
Hello. Okay, can you please mute? Yeah, thank you. So thank you very much for joining. I think at this stage, I'm done with my own presentation. If there is nothing else to add or nothing else to correct or ask questions about, I'd like to appreciate everyone. Thank you for joining. Thank you for your time. And I wish us the very best in our job search. Okay, so you want me to share the recording? Okay, I'll get the recording. I'll put it on our WhatsApp page, and I'll put the WhatsApp link. Please, can anyone help me put the WhatsApp link for our group page here in case there's anyone who would be interested to join us? You can, please. David, are you there? Can you help me share the WhatsApp link, please? Or Willie or Frank, anyone, please?
Yes.
For the group page. Okay. All right. Once you put it, we can end the meeting. So that if there is anyone that, okay, all right. So that's the group page. You can join us and, share your ideas or your experiences too. Yes? Yeah, Frank.
Yeah, sorry. Good evening, everyone. Sorry, I joined a bit late, but I think at one point I have that I think is also important. I let other people know, or an experience that I had a few days ago on a job application that I made. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, please go ahead. Thank you.
Okay.
Please go ahead.
So yeah, okay. So I made a job application for I think it was like a network analyst. So in one of the councils here, I was screened out for the job. So I reached out to the hiring manager to know why I didn't make it to the interview level. So the hiring manager told me that, like, I didn't put I can do night shifts.
Okay.
He said
Okay.
because on the job description, they specify the time.
Yes.
7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. You know that. So
Yeah,
he
that's
said,
true. That's correct.
he now told me that it is not everybody that can do night shifts.
Okay.
So I think it's also important, whenever we want to make an application, we'll look at the details, the job description. The latest is that, we ignore. So some of them take it as a big deal.
Yeah,
You
that's
know
true.
what I mean? So I think the opportunity that you created here, that everybody can actually contribute and share experiences, it's always helped us a lot. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you very much. That's really true, because here, the way they view things, the culture here is different. It's not everybody that can do night shift, truly. So they expect you to put it there that you are flexible, you're adaptable, you are willing to do night shifts or weekend rotas. So once your job description specifies that, as much as possible, include it in your resume and your supporting statement. I remember when I was having my interview, the same thing was asked me, and I told them, oh, yes.
Hello, madam. Good evening.
Yeah, thank you. Please go ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you clearly. Yeah, please go ahead.
Hello, I can hear you. Yeah, let me call you back.
Hello, Sanusi. Are you talking to us or someone else?
No, someone else. Oh, sorry.
Okay. All right. No problem, Sanusi. No problem. It's okay. So that's just another thing, another very important point. Study your job description very well. In the UK here, you're allowed to call a recruiter before you even submit your job application if you have questions. That's why every government job, you will see the hiring person, the email and the number. So you can speak to them and ask them as many questions as you wish that would help you in your application, or speak to them, before or after your interview. And what he did is also very good. So call a recruiter if you missed an opportunity to find out what you did wrong, so that you can improve in your next application. So please understand that here, it will not count against you if you call a recruiter before applying for a job to ask certain questions that need clarification from you. So that's important. We also encourage people, if you're looking for visa sponsorship or you're still a student, we encourage people to apply for government jobs because they don't discriminate. Private companies seems to be concerned about people that will be here for a long time, but government companies are not. They can give you a job 3 months to the end of your schooling and give you time to process and transition from student visa to work visa. So they are also willing to still give you the interview opportunity. But if it's a private company, some of them, the moment they see a student visa, they are not even going to call you to the next stage. So it's highly encouraged. Focus your search on government jobs, NHS, Department of Education, civil service jobs, and so on and so forth. A lot of them are also offering visa sponsorship, and it works. Many people are getting it. You can also try it. Thank you. Is there any other contribution? This is far beyond our time. If not, we can end it here. If there's any contribution, All right. Is there any contribution? All right, or question? All right. Okay, so thank you very much for taking time to join us on this platform. I wish every one of us the very best. I'm available on WhatsApp. We can chat, ask questions, and do more together as a group. That's why we created a group and share our experiences. I wish us the very best in our job search. Thank you very much. Bye-bye, everyone.